future, talk radio will actually educate, inspire, and make you think. The future is now. Topics and music that affect your life from Universal Broadcasting Network. Tune in at ubnradio.com.
Thank you. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to all of our listeners and viewers around the country and around the world. This is another edition of Focus with Ron Frierson. I am your host, Mr. Ron Frierson. And to my left, I have my brother here, Mr. Woody Wilson.
Happy Cinco de Mayo, Ron.
Happy Cinco de Mayo, Holmes. Hey, and we also have my other brother here, Mr. Malik Yoba, who's running late, and if you know Malik like we know Malik, he's always
late and leaves early.
So once Malik walks in here, yeah, he'll be here with us for the first half hour. But once he walks in here, I'll probably go to commercial break. And guess who just walks in
there
the door?
He is, the
there
man,
he is,
the myth, the legend.
Hey, so guys, what we're gonna do? We're gonna take a commercial right now, really fast, so we can get this dude plugged in, and then once we come back from this commercial break, we'll have our special guest, Mr. Malik Yoba, with us.
Okay? All right.
So let's do it right now, Jarvis.
Hi, I'm Dr. Yates. I'm a hair transplant surgeon. When people come to see me, they have a problem. They've lost a lot of hair and they want their hair back. We have our own line of hair products, and I think it's a real winner. The way we start is with Mega Biotin. Number 2, edge control. It prevents breakage and holds the edges down. Apple cider vinegar shampoo. It adds body, it adds shine, and it also reduces inflammation. Depending on if your hair is dry, you want to use hydrating. If your hair is thin, you use the thickening shampoo. Then we have our secret sauce, argan oil. With that, we have what's called Miracle Blowout. The Sheen Spray is basically kind of a permutation of the argan oil. It just adds a finishing touch to the hair. And finally, the Dynamic Duo, keratin fibers. This makes your hair look thicker instantaneously. This doesn't come out in the wind, doesn't come out in the rain. We can guarantee this will help your hair and keep you from coming to see me about hair loss.
Zhivago timepieces are luxury watches for both women and men. Designs for women are inspired by classic femininity while maintaining their contemporary style. Designs for men blend classic elegance and sporty versatility. All timepieces remain true to the Zhivago lifestyle, including their glamorous presentation, which is a nod to the famous Parisian fragrance that started it all. Zhivago timepieces transcend the ages, recalling life's most treasured moments. Let Zhivago inspire you.
Visit www.zhivagowatches.com or shop Zhivago Watches on Amazon.
Where does your favorite restaurant get its bread? Do they make it themselves? If not, make sure your favorite restaurant uses Artisan Crust Bakery for all their baked goods. 100% natural, 100% fresh, 100% delicious.
Flowers are nature's expression of love and appreciation. There is no better way to show your love and appreciation than with these beautifully intricate arrangements by Designs by David. Designs by David will deliver beautiful arrangements to you for any occasion, in any city and state around the world. Love and appreciation should be expressed every day. Express it with Designs by David today. Mention Focus with Ron Frierson for a discount.
Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rewind it as if we just got on air and start over again. Welcome to another edition of Focus with Ron Frierson. I'm your host, Mr. Ron Frierson. And to my immediate left, I have my brother, special guest, who I'm glad happened to be on the West Coast during the same time that we were airing. My brother, Malik Yoba. Welcome to the set, Malik.
Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo, exactly.
Happy Cinco de Mayo. To my friends.
And also, again, I have my brother, Mr. Woody Wilson, with us.
What's up?
So this is all family right here for me. This is all love. So, hey, Malik, thank you for joining us. Even though I knew you were gonna be late, we already know you're gonna be late. That's just what you do.
Yeah, it's called L.A.
Yeah, is that what it is? It's the traffic and everything.
It's called leaving Santa Monica to come to
That's
Hollywood.
The LA hustle.
Man. This traffic is
I need a
worse
drone.
and worse.
It really is.
It
man.
is. We need.
I've been coming to LA since there was like dirt roads and farmland in the 70s. When Manhattan Beach wasn't paved.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So,
Nice.
you know.
So you've seen all the growth.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
It's,
we're trying.
one person per car.
Yeah.
And then people don't let you merge.
Right.
What we're trying to do is that we're trying to get public transportation similar to New York, but it'll never happen.
No,
Yeah.
we started too far behind the 8 ball.
Yeah, you need drones.
Yeah.
Drones.
But Elon Musk has this idea now where he's going to build underground freeways.
Really?
And he's going to test it out on his property in El Segundo. And he's going to build the first underground freeway. And so if it's successful.
That's called the tunnel.
Yeah, it's called the tunnel.
Yes.
Right?
And that'll be fantastic until we have our first earthquake,
Yeah.
and then there will be no underground tunnels.
Yes. Underground tomb.
Exactly. I don't see that happening in underground tunnel. But listen,
Well, we got the
guys.
subways.
That's true. Yeah. So we're gonna start off with this customary rant, and this show is gonna be a little less formal because it's Cinco de Mayo, and we
Cinco de Mayo.
Happy Cinco de Mayo.
We started from the bottom. Now we here.
Man, that's kind of racist.
Happy Independence Day.
I'm racist.
Yeah, just be quiet. So this week we had some significant happenings on the political front. The House, the GOP within the House of Representatives, they have passed a bill to try to repeal Obamacare.
Right.
For the longest time, they were saying repeal and replace. They still haven't come up with a replacement, but they've tried to take the first step towards repealing. President Trump and most of the GOP for 7 years, President Trump as long as the campaign's been on, but they've always said how they were going to repeal and replace Obamacare. First time they tried to do it, they didn't have enough votes in the House, so it was struck down. They didn't even have a vote for it because they knew it wasn't going to pass within the House to go over to the Senate. And they're doing it with only Republican votes. Of course, they will not get any sort of Democrat support.
Right.
So what they did now is that they did it again, and they're going to push it to the Senate. And hopefully the Senate, which tends to be the more mature and the more deliberative body of Congress, I hope they will find enough fault in it to kick it back to the House, and maybe it won't happen. But we'll see. But there's an optic that we had yesterday, because in the president's first 100 days, he had no major legislative accomplishments at all. He's been just doing executive orders, putting out BS into the world to make it seem as if he's done something. His immigration ban was stopped twice by the courts. The first time he tried to go for health care, that was stopped. He didn't get a tax policy through, so he put out a one-pager saying that they're just going to cut taxes for everyone. So he got this one. He got this thing through the House.
The first step.
It has to go through the Senate. But if you look at the photo op, you'll see the president out in the Rose Garden as if he's passed something significant. It hasn't passed. This is just first. It's like you celebrating winning a championship after the first round of the playoffs.
That's right.
The first half of the first game of the first round of the playoffs.
Right.
You leading at that point. But in that graphic, all you see are older white men.
Right.
Old white man, overweight, rich white man. That's it.
Yeah.
And it's a reflection of what the Republican Party has become. It's become old, white, rich men. You had a billionaire up front, which is Donald Trump.
Right.
And then you have all these millionaires behind them.
Who are out of touch.
That are trying to make these types of decisions for the country that's going to affect everyday Americans in a negative way. And it's going to, this money that they're saving in this new plan, they're saving this in order to provide a tax cut that's only going to benefit the top 1%. Think about it. So they're going to have all these cuts in the Obamacare program, the individual mandate that makes people have to enter into the you have to have healthy people enter into the program in order to cover the people that aren't healthy. They're going to do away with all this stuff, save all this money because they're cutting a lot of people's health care, and the money they save, that's what they're going to use to pay for the tax cut that they're going to provide that's going to affect the top 1%. Y'all tell me what's wrong with this picture.
Well, what's wrong with this picture is that it's a lot of 14 million people are estimated to lose their health care. It's not for the everyday person. It's the whole Donald Trump's kind of agenda is for the top 2%. Well, let's just include the top 10%. But his agenda is not for, the country as a whole. And there's a lot of holes in it. And I hope that the Senate looks at this and understands that that's not the case. And if they would just have some compassion with the health care bill and try to make it work and not try to repeal. They're caught up on this repeal and replace. We've got a good foundation. I mean, we've got to emulate the single payer situation like Australia.
Why is that? Why do you think, at this core, why do you think they are so hell-bent on repealing
Because President Obama, was behind.
There you go.
They want to erase his legacy.
Exactly.
That's their whole purpose, to erase President Obama's legacy.
That's their whole
It's got nothing to do with helping the average American. That's not what politics is about these days. They're not trying to help you and I. They're just trying to win. And they're trying to stamp out President Obama's legacy. And what's in place is good. It's failing because we're not trying to work it and make it better collectively. So it's just a shame. I get so disappointed when I sit back and watch what's going on in the world. And we'll spend $1 billion helping out another country.
That's right.
As opposed to helping the inner cities.
Mm-hmm.
So we're backwards. We're backwards.
What do you think, Malik?
I don't want to spend this time I have talking about this.
Malik is only with us for 30 minutes, so he
just
goes sit
me,
here.
yeah.
You could Zoolander over there if you want to.
Nah,
people can see you on camera.
I see.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
what you want to talk about, man?
I don't know, man. What do we focus on?
What's your latest project?
What are you focusing on? Yeah, tell us about
focused on. As a general rule, man, you got to focus on manifesting. Dudes in office, at the end of the day, they're doing what they do, so we can, have our commentary on it.
Right.
There's certainly professionals that do that every day, all day on 24-hour news site and news programs. So I'm driving around LA in traffic because getting stood up by a major a marketing director from a major automotive company, and in an attempt to build a partnership. And I'd like to focus more on that. I just think that people don't show up for themselves.
Uh-huh.
So whether they're in a political office, whether they are in a corporate situation, whether in relationships, I just think that, I wrote that book, Please Return My Phone Call, Preventing the Demise of Personal and Professional Relationships. And, I get into a lot of rooms and a lot of spaces, a lot of sectors of society. And I just think that, someone who has been a community activist since I was 16 years old, who's worked in prisons and a lot of work around prison reform, worked in high schools, worked in with governments. In my experience, I'm 49 years old. In my lifetime, the people that I admire, the Paul Robesons of the world, the Harry Belafontes, who I'm fortunate enough to call a friend and a mentor, I haven't seen enough of the average person really roll up their sleeves and get busy in the trenches, making a difference where they are.
Right.
And so we can talk about what Trump isn't doing, and I think it's important to be aware. But I think on a day-to-day basis, people are kind of beat down by the sense of hopelessness in the world.
Well, I think don't
injustice.
you think it's all connected? See, because one of the reasons he got into office is because they weren't doing what you're saying they should do and being engaged in the process, because maybe they were apathetic or thinking like, it's something else, I got to focus on this. But if they were involved, like you said, and they were paying attention, people in general.
Oh yeah, but what I guess the point that I was getting to is that, so you see more people agitated now. You see more people wanting to stand up. So I was doing an interview yesterday, and someone asked me, so what do you think about all these celebrities now that are sort of standing up and being woke, which is the new phrase, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I'm pleased because I see more action, or at least more agitation and more expression of that agitation than I did, even 8 months ago.
And it's almost too late, though. Where was all this?
Because at the end of the day,
it's never too late.
At the end of the day,
but where was this prior to?
I don't worry about that part, because I think that you still have to meet people where they are.
Right.
And so if that's where the people are, then that's cool. But I think that for me, on a day-to-day basis, you say what am I focused on? One of the newest things I've been doing, I've talked to you about, is real estate development.
That's right.
And so, going back to the community I was born in the Bronx, and developing a couple of properties, and doing a hotel project and a condo project, and finding ways to crowd raise so that people who live in these communities can participate as well, and not just be looked at as some big developers coming in to do that, and producing content.
See so this is the thing. The reason why all of these things matter. Okay, let's just say like the glitz and the spotlight of whatever the sexy part of it is, whether it's North Korea or whatever. These policy issues that Trump and some of the GOP have put in place, they put certain policies in place that will trickle down at the state and local level that will prove to be a barrier of entry for someone to upstart like us in the real estate development game that's trying to get to a certain level.
But I don't focus on that part, bro. I think on a day-to-day basis, at the end of the day, what I've learned is that, diving into any endeavor, you're going to discover all the things that are relevant to that endeavor, right? So maybe you run up against that, but that's like talking about being a black actor in Hollywood. I was speaking at my daughter's school yesterday at Birmingham High School, and I happened to be at her drama class, and teacher, older Jewish man, is asking me, so what is it like being a black actor in Hollywood? Do you feel like race gets in the way of your ambition? And it was interesting because when I walked in, he didn't know who I was and what the credits were, and one of the kids said, "Oh, he was in Cool Runnings," and he walks over and goes, "Oh my God, he was in Cool Runnings." Yeah, and he was a fan of that film. He goes to his computer and looks at my IMDb page and is like, "Wow, this." Like, would you come speak to my students? I mean, you've been in 1,000 things. And so what's interesting to that point is, like, I don't focus on how hard the business is, what's not possible. And this is what I said to the kids, Right. And here is, because there are just as many, if not more, white actors, that male and female, beautiful, the quintessential all-American looks, right? Blonde hair, blue eyes, whatever, complaining about how they can't work or don't get enough work. So I just,
which is why you've been so successful, is because you've been able to kind of push that to the side and just be hired based on your talent and go forward.
So you're saying you're happy with the status quo?
I don't think it's about being happy with the status quo, but I don't think it's just about the talent, because there's a lot of talented people. The one thing that I really, too. I think it's a mindset, but I also think that being of service to other people is a huge piece of it. I think that, as you endeavor to do whatever you do, I think you have to think about, how does what I do impact other people? And if I see someone in need, if I see someone, and
that's huge. A lot of people don't think that way.
But I know, and I really feel like that's part of the whole equation. You can have your dream, you can have your ambition, you can have your family, you can have your needs and work to getting your needs met. But I think it's important to consider the needs of others and just have that as part of who you are. And so back to the GOP question, part of the problem that we're talking about is individuals who have come up that don't feel it's their role to make sure that other people are taken care of, which is why they're about less government.
That's the missing link.
Less government. Yeah, but I think that it's a human issue, and I think that it's where we put our focus. And so, what we focus on is the thing that grows, right? So if we are anxious about, what President Trump is going to do and what the GOP is doing, oh my God, then that's the part that's going to grow as well, right? The fear.
So, what would you say now, given that, but you're not saying turn a blind eye. You're saying that just don't ponder on the negative.
Active in your space.
Okay.
Wherever you find yourself, a lot of times people feel like they have to become successful to give back. They have to have money to give back. They have to be older to give back.
Yeah.
If you're a 12-year-old, you can mentor a 6-year-old.
That's right.
If you're an 18-year-old, you can work with a 12-year-old.
So what about civil engagement? Tell me how that's involved in that.
I think, sometimes people need the instruction book, right? And it's hard, right? As active as I've been, I'd love to see my own children who are teenagers be as active as I was when I was their age. They're not. Right. And I try to tell them, I'm giving you the keys to the kingdom.
Yeah.
And part of that is, being of service. And part of it, my kids might be a little spoiled or whatever. They take things for granted. So even within my own family, there's, a need to continue to push and encourage.
That's very interesting. I met a guy today on Sunset Plaza was talking about giving back, and we just bumped into this guy, had a general conversation, and his whole thing was the reason for his success was because he has given back, and he thinks that, he knows that is what's important in life, is giving and receiving, but making sure that you're helping someone out along the way. And I kind of hear that's kind of the same concept that you have in your life, is making sure that you're helping and back to the government situation, I don't think that the folks that we elect are there to really help the people.
Not all the people, anyway.
Not all the people.
I agree with both you guys, and then I think that it's sad that we're in a space where that has become the norm, wherein we set up a certain structure within our civilization, and we have to become counter that structure in order to be positive. Right. It would be great if our government, which we elect, who we pay for, which our tax dollars that you go towards, pay to keep in office and pay to make policies, put policies in place that are so glaringly opposite to what the angels of our nature are, that we have to go above and beyond to be sure to give back even more so, because it's vacant if we don't do it ourselves. Right. So the stuff that is what Malik is talking about, that you're talking about in regards to the civil engagement and giving back and being present or being woke, we have to be woke because the world is asleep. Right. If everyone was awake, then obviously that wouldn't be as much of an issue. So, but I do believe that there are certain things that there are solid ceilings on in regards to your opportunity and your ambition can be to the moon and back. But to get to the moon, you either have to have the knowledge to build a spaceship or you have to already possess a spaceship. Those people that are caretakers of the knowledge to build that spaceship, if they don't let you into the library to learn how to build that spaceship, then that can be an issue. If you don't have the money to get that spaceship or the money to finance that spaceship, then getting to the moon would be that issue. And those avenues that are put before us that will allow us to get to that point, it seems as if they are being continually blocked.
But you can't focus. Like I don't. That doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like when people tell me that business is hard because of the economy, and my business is like, that doesn't matter to me because I'm on another track. Right. It doesn't affect me.
Exactly.
Right.
But it all depends on your business. Okay, so
it doesn't. I mean, that's the mindset.
No, the mindset. The mindset, you can't let the mindset dictate, but there are solid realities other than the mind. The mindset has to be through the roof, but let's say there's certain reality. Let's just say, hypothetically speaking, that you have a great idea for something that's going to help in the defense industry. You can't do it yourself. You're either going to be incorporated within the existing defense industry structure with Lockheed Martin or Grubb or whoever else. You got to do that with them, Northrop Grumman, or you just get out the way. You can't go for it yourself without the barrier being there. So what I'm saying in regards to some of our ambitions should always try to push through, because that's human nature. We should always be countercultural and go in and go whole hog. What I'm saying is this, is that we have to be sure to keep our elected officials accountable and let them know we know what you're doing, so that they know that they can't just do anything they want and continually cut down the opportunities. It's education. If you're constantly cutting education, if if the kids in the Bronx or in Saginaw or Flint, they can't get the proper education to get those STEM jobs, the science, technology, engineering, math jobs, then they're going to be a permanent second-class citizen economically. Who is it that's supposed to help them with that? The public school system.
Well, the public school system, the man on the street, the dude coding in his bedroom. I just think that, again, we did not grow up in a culture that promotes altruism, that promotes civil engagement at that level. Like in Japan, for instance, you saw during the World Cup or even during the Olympics, when like during the soccer matches, when their team lost, all the Japanese fans stayed in the stadium and cleaned the stadium. No one had to ask them to do that. That's culturally how they have been raised, right? And so I think that that's the thing that we have to propagate. We have to propagate involvement. We have to propagate service. We have to propagate.
Tell me this. I want your opinion on this. One thing I've always thought about, and we live in a great country, a multicultural country, diverse country, but part of some of our issues and moving forward as a country are steeped in some elements of tribalism because of all the different cultures within it. Like you said, Japan. Japan is basically homogeneous.
Japanese.
All Japanese. They don't have an Indian Japan population. It's different. So when you have all this people with the same common shared culture, then it's a lot easier to move forward in mass, as opposed to a patchwork of different cultures.
So you're saying
all
our strength
together.
could be our demise.
Our strength in our diversity, but if we are stuck in tribalism within this whole thing, sometimes we can lose fact that the entire country needs to move forward in civilization, because we may have some cultural grievances between this party and that party. This group wants to keep that other group down because of historical wrongs or whatever, and back and forth, or the stereotypes that come in. So part of our diversity and our civility has to be an effort to strike down those negative parts that come along with this, which is tribalism.
You know, and that's we're in a situation where we're the largest country in the world that we've got the largest democracy. We welcome anyone to the country, and we still have prejudice and hate because we've got groups of people that live together, flock together, can freedom of speech. They can say what they want to say and find like minds. And so our freedom has also put us in a situation where we've kind of created this pot of prejudice. And I mean, you see what's happened. I mean, with the election of Trump, our president, and Obama, and well, we know how this country is. We don't have to go into details about how many issues that we have. I mean, last year, 2 years ago, every police beating was shown on Facebook, and now it's not there anymore. But it did shine a light on what was happening in the country. We grew up that way, right? Yeah. We talked about how we wouldn't load up in a car. 3 brothers in a car was a no-no. You were going to get pulled over. 2 in a car. Don't have 5 in a car. Definitely getting pulled over, right? And if you saw a police officer approaching you, what'd you do? You turned the block, right? You avoided him. You didn't make eye contact because you knew you'd be in trouble. So that's the America we live in. And although it is free America, we do have our issues. And I don't know if, I kind of got off track a little bit there. But
I saw part of the same conversation because I think that, America, democracy is an experiment. And I think that we're sold that it's the finished product.
Right.
And so we're disappointed because, I took this TV home, I hit the remote, and it's not turning on. I'm not getting all the channels. You promised me 87 channels, and I have 3.
Right.
That's the problem. And I think that, the upside, I think, of Trump presidency is, he's the embodiment of all that has been wrong with white men.
That's the best thing.
And white male privilege. So other white men and white women and everyone, the whole world is looking at this and going, this is absurd.
You can see it.
Like,
they can see it.
This is absurd. You're just going to be a petulant child and do whatever you want to do. And, no, you can't. Michelle Obama, girls learning, gone. Obama, so. But I think it's an opportunity for healing that can come from this. I think the gash is not done. It's going to go deeper. There's going to be more bloodletting.
Cut to the white meat.
Yeah, but I think that once we get there, and I kind of live because I live in a bubble, bro. Yeah. My bubble is like I get to see. One, I work in media, so I feel partially responsible for making sure that we represent certain ideas, ideals, visions. For instance, like I'm doing this Netflix show right now, 7 Seconds, about Regina King's character loses her son, cops run him over and try to cover up the murder, and I play a guy that meets her in a bereavement group, and it was important for me, that representation of that particular black male. Because the only thing the script called for was that he was serene, he was calm, he spoke. And so I was watching Hot 97, actually like this. They were doing like podcasts, Ebro in the morning. My man, Devon Simmons, shout out to Devon, who did like 15 years in prison for a childhood mistake, was on there, and he was wearing his Yankee cap. And I was thinking about the type of black male I wanted to represent with this character. And I'm watching Devon in this interview, and I was like, there was an element. I was like, yo, that Yankee cap. So I call up wardrobe. I'm like, make sure you get me a Yankee cap, because I wanted to basically embody that black male that's like, yo, you know what I'm saying? You feel that dude. Yeah. You know what I mean? You talk to me, and he talking like this. You know what I mean? Like that. And so what was important for me was like, because the character is so vulnerable and strong, it was important to give that characterization of that type of black man, because I know that people seeing that representation of him and seeing a level of sensitivity will hopefully inform on some level. So wherever we are, we have to be engaged, which is my point. So
how did it feel when you played Martin Luther King?
That was the best. That was the best.
You got to tell me, like, where did you have to go? Like, I mean, did you have to look up a lot of different?
Unfortunately, it's not enough. It's not as much footage easily accessible that you would think. Whether YouTube or even going to libraries. But yeah, no, that was the best. That was the best role ever because I had like a month to actually like I literally would listen to his recordings and like fall asleep to them and just put the headphones on and lay down, literally just lay down and just let his spirit sort of enter me and just so yeah, that was dope. I don't have those opportunities enough. But I make them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, also one of the great things, Malik has been my brother for 10 plus years, for a long time. Go way back.
Like 15. We met.
I know, I know. It's crazy.
2001,
He's
bro.
my brother for a long time, and one of the things that I've always respected about him is that he always kept moving. And if there wasn't anything going on, he made something happen. So I understand exactly where he's coming from in regards to the way he looks at it and the way he looks at his business, especially the industry he's in. He can't allow for those barriers to stop him because it can't. It's too many avenues that he has paved for himself. Like my grandfather used to say, find a way and make a way. His brother makes a way.
But I think it's also purpose. Like I really feel purposed in what I do. Like my career started because I was working with young people and working in nonprofits and had the opportunity to find out about auditions and through that work, like literally in the space, like there's a flyer on the wall, go audition for this movie, which led to Cool Runnings and New York Undercover and everything over the last that was 1989 when I did my first film. So I'm rooted in service. I was 16 years old working in after school programs with kids and tutoring, and 18 I'm teaching theater, so and my father was always like, if there's a crack, fill it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you build your own generator so when they turn off the power you still have
Where
lights.
I come from, they say if it's a crack, smoke it.
Yeah. That'd be your mama and your mama stop smoking on that. So that's it, man. That's all I got to say about that. I just hope that whoever's listening, there's just one person that's like on the fence about what should I do. There's a lot of people suffering right now. A lot of people are talking about anxiety and depression, and people are uncertain.
There's a pill for that.
There are pills for that. And sometimes
a lot of them. Overwhelming amount of pills for that.
Sometimes there's chemical needs. I get that. Yeah. But I just to this in the spirit of the man you said you saw earlier today, who said it's about giving and receiving. Sometimes, I do feel I live in a bit of a bubble in that I wake up every single day excited. I literally do. Like even when it's hard because there's so many things that I'm doing that have nothing to do with film and TV. It's like whether it's the real estate stuff or working on corporate partnerships or the community stuff or the prison reform stuff or just. The to-do list is never done. Yeah. And there's always more to do. So there's a correlation between being active, being present, being of service, being purposed, knowing that that's your mission. Yeah. And your state of mind and your disposition. So
that's very important. I mean, speaking of prison reform, what do you think about Trump's action against privatizing prisons again? Obama had written legislation against privatization of prisons, right?
He wrote an executive order banning the privatization of prisons.
Well, yeah, and now Trump reversed that executive order.
I mean,
and so the effect that it has on the community.
Sure, I mean, we can go on and on. I mean,
well, the thing is, there was it was something I was watching recently. I think it was a Michael Moore film. Francis, our brother Francis, was at the house, and no, that was you. You was at the house when you were at the house the other night. Was that Michael Moore film we were watching?
No, I didn't. No.
Okay, they were talking about the free labor and how from slavery.
Prisons, well, 13th does a great job. Yes, if people haven't seen that, looking at the 13th Amendment and how free labor became legal through the 13th Amendment, which banned it other than slavery.
Exactly.
But to your point, the privatization of prisons. I mean, again, watch 13th, read a book like Incarceration Nations, which was written by a friend of mine, Boz Dreisinger, Dr. Boz Dreisinger.
Hey, real quick, guys, we got to take one of these commercial breaks,
and I got to get out of here.
You got to leave right now.
I do, man. I got to be in Beverly Hills, man. I got to go to this event.
This traffic is crazy.
Yeah, traffic is crazy. Yeah, that's true.
I drove all the way over here thinking I'm just going to get back in this and sit, but I need to get there.
Yeah. All right, my brother.
Yeah.
Well, everyone, we have my friend here, my brother, Mr. Malik Yoba, who dropped in, and now he's on his way back out Thank you for joining us, Malik. Hey,
Good
tell
to
us
see you,
about a new project or something that you're working on right now that you want to
Designated Survivor, people watching that for season 1, they might have seen Jason Atwood get murked 2 days ago. I'm here shooting a movie called Till Death Do Us Part, and I'm also doing the Netflix show 7 Seconds at the same time. So
Nice.
You need to quit getting killed. You know that, don't you?
I don't get killed. I'm here. The characters make choices. All right, it ain't me. Let's be clear. Language is important and powerful. All right.
That's right.
All right, everybody. Shout out to my brother Malik Yoba.
Good to see you, Malik.
Check him
Good to
out
see both.
always.
Oh, yeah.
And let's go to commercial break, and we'll be back. Me and Woody.
Man, you're a producer over there.
I'm Dr. Yates. I'm a hair transplant surgeon. When people come to see me, they have a problem. They've lost a lot of hair and they want their hair back. We have our own line of hair products, and I think it's a real winner. The way we start is with Mega Biotin. Number 2, edge control. It prevents breakage and holds the edges down. Apple cider vinegar shampoo. It adds body, it adds shine, and it also reduces inflammation. Depending on if your hair is dry, you want to use hydrating. If your hair is thin, you use the thickening shampoo. Then we have our secret sauce, argan oil. With that, we have what's called Miracle Blowout. The Sheen Spray is basically kind of a permutation of the argan oil. It just adds a finishing touch to the hair. And finally, the Dynamic Duo, keratin fibers. This makes your hair look thicker instantaneously. This doesn't come out in the wind, doesn't come out in the rain. We can guarantee this will help your hair and keep you from coming to see me about hair loss.
Zhivago timepieces are luxury watches for both women and men. Designs for women are inspired by classic femininity while maintaining their contemporary style. Designs for men blend classic elegance and sporty versatility. All timepieces remain true to the Zhivago lifestyle, including their glamorous presentation, which is a nod to the famous Parisian fragrance that started it all. Zhivago timepieces transcend the ages, recalling life's most treasured moments. Let Zhivago inspire you.
Visit www.zhivagowatches.com or shop Zhivago watches on Amazon.
Flowers are nature's expression of love and appreciation. There is no better way to show your love and appreciation than with these beautifully intricate arrangements by Designs by David. Designs by David will deliver beautiful arrangements to you for any occasion in any city and state around the world. Love and appreciation should be expressed every day. Express it with Designs by David today. Mention Focus with Ron Frierson for a discount.
Yes. Happy
Welcome
Cinco de Mayo.
back. Welcome back. Happy Cinco de Mayo with the Cinco de Mayo special. We have my brother Malik Yoba that was in from New York and here trying to take care of some business out in Hollywood.
Yeah, do it.
And Malik, thanks again for joining us.
Yeah, good to see you, man.
So, yeah, we had a pretty decent I like the way we riff like that. This is the way when we're all together, me and our group, me and Woody and Malik and Shay and Francis. Shout out to Fran.
Shout out to Fran. Fran's leaving us, huh?
Francis is leaving us.
Man,
Going to
can't
Kansas
believe
City.
that. Going to Kansas
Yeah,
City.
and Tommy up in San Francisco. Shout out to Tommy. Crazy Tommy.
Just had a birthday, right?
Yeah, Tommy just had a birthday. Happy birthday, Tommy. So we have deep discussions like this, me and my close friends, when we all get together, when all of us happen to be in the same city.
Sipping on scissor.
Sipping on something.
Champagne, whatever.
Yeah, sipping on whatever. Sipping on whatever.
Yeah.
But and this is actually something that we really enjoy, which is, keeping each other, which is I think that a lot of people do, and if you don't, you should have friends that motivate you, that push you, that help you become better, that you can bounce intellectual ideas off of. And
Malik always makes you think, man. He always breaks it down to the grassroots of what's important, and that's how I love having conversations.
Yeah. Well, I love having conversations with Malik when I don't feel like talking, because he'll be talking the entire time, and I can just go to sleep and just let him talk, because the brother can talk. So
just let him roll.
Yeah, I just let him roll, and I just sit back and say, yeah. But guys, back on like the thing we were talking, and one of the things I was really commending Malik and Woody on was how we can't focus on the negative, and I completely agree with that. One of the things that we also have to be sure of, there's a difference between or it's a fine line, I should say, between focusing on the negative and also being apathetic and acting as if the negative does not exist, because the squeaking wheel does get the oil
every single time.
So that means that those things that are wrong, we need to speak up on it. And for you to realize that they're wrong, that means there's something that you have to pay attention to. Then you can realize that it's wrong, and once you realize it's wrong, then you need to share it and communicate it with like-minded people, and then put it out there, so that's the only way they can fix it. These things in regards to healthcare, there's a ominous, very negative picture when you have a group and just the photo op of it. That's not a representation of America that you see standing behind Donald Trump when they pass this part of this healthcare bill that they're trying to push to the Senate now. When you see a billionaire president with very little integrity, we all know he has very little integrity. He may be good for you tax-wise, maybe. He may be good for us right now, riding the wave of what President Obama had already put into motion in regards to job creation and things of that sort. He may be good for a few things, but one thing he is not a man of integrity and a man of true character. So you put a person like that up,
but
all of the people behind him,
right.
And then he's talking about how he's going to repeal and replace Obamacare, not repair it, not doing what's best for the people. Only thing he's doing is talking about, Obamacare is terrible. It's going to kill everybody. It's going to implode on its own. Well, fix it.
First of all, his base, we understand. I mean, you could look at who he surrounds himself with and understand his base. Mm-hmm. Their objectives are not the objectives of America. If you look at America today, it's multiculturally diverse, right? Mm-hmm. It is all walks of life. And I think generally those who are educated, and I have to say you're educated, because if you are prejudiced, you are ignorant. Yeah. But those of us who understand that we're more alike than we are different.
Exactly.
And we have to live in peace. And we have to figure out a way for all of us to be served, especially when it comes to health care and all the other issues that are surrounding us. I mean, if you look at my chair is sinking here while I'm talking. If you look at if you look at the technology that we talked about, how the technology is evolving to where jobs are going to be lost, and if you're not going back to school and educating yourself on either how to write code or, I mean, the world is really headed. I got word today that there's a technology out there that can duplicate your face. Mm-hmm. They can scan and duplicate a 3D image of who you are. So now you can scan an actor, pick your favorite actor. They can scan all of his images, and whatever 38 different facial expressions that we have, now they can be simulated, and you won't know the difference between that person actually being on screen as a real person or a digital image. So now actors themselves can be phased out when you talk about certain projects and paying an astronomical fee, $10 million a film or what have you. But what I'm saying is that technology is fastly moving in a direction where we have to figure out collectively how those who don't fit into the technological advances of America will have jobs. And as Elon Musk stated in a speech, the government is going to have to subsidize the income of the general public just so everyone can survive.
And so now this is the deal with
that. So there's a larger problem
deal
here and we can't separate ourselves as the Trump administration is doing.
Now this is the deal with the whole government. And Elon Musk is one of my heroes, and he's a
brilliant guy.
He's a Thomas Edison of our generation. Now the thing about this, though, and I've heard this numerous times, you cannot on one end say that the government needs to subsidize this and the other. Then on the other end, and when I say you, I mean the people that represent us in government. Then on the other end,
in the future,
and on the other end, cut out opportunities for people to excel.
Right.
Now, everyone knows that your first few years of life in your education from elementary on, that's going to dictate a lot about how you turn out. It's going to dictate a lot in regards to your cognitive functions, the way you do well in school, the schools you get into, and the way you are raised in your educational influences. they play a large part in where you're going to end up in life. And everyone knows that. But it's almost built into the system where you have some people who just do not think that it's proper to, or they don't put a high enough priority of how important it is to have a great public school system for everyone. For everyone. How many social ills that could prevent just by even things in regards to the way people act towards each other.
How can you be the president of the United States spending billions of dollars in other countries that hate you? North Korea, for example, was what, 300? We gave North Korea $300 million in 2016, I believe, roughly. Yeah. And we've got inner city schools. You can go to the inner city and see condemned buildings.
Rural schools and schools in the country.
We don't have proper computers and the things that kids need
proper Wi-Fi
to be educated. It's ass backwards.
It is.
I don't understand how you are an elected official and the people who have elected you, and you get into office and you don't care about the future of America.
And I've said it a million times. And when I say education, I mean complete education. I mean the complete well-being of the child. That means proper nutrition,
healthcare.
Healthcare, proper nutrition. I'm telling you, a kid cannot study and concentrate if he's hungry.
Growling, right?
He can't do it. A kid cannot have for lunch a bag of chips and a juice box and think that the kid is going to somehow, his brain is going to develop correctly. These are all things that go into the education. Their ability to sleep, their stressful condition. And
what happened to make America great again?
Exactly. And if you're thinking about making America great again, this is how you do it.
That's how you do it.
So, but I love capitalism because I'm a capitalist as well. But there's a problem when the almighty buck rules everything.
Yeah, no.
There's a problem with that.
It's a big problem.
So,
and that's where we are. That's where we are in America. I mean, and there's, we really have to. It's our fault if you're not voting, if you're not writing your local congressman, if you're not voicing your opinion, if you're not protesting, if you're not, telling. Or sharing with the world what your issues are, and you're not donating and giving back. I mean, that's all a part of it, folks. You really have to get involved.
But educate yourself first. Sometimes people come in and they have all these ideas about this and the other, but they don't understand the underlying issues as to why.
Right.
Educate yourself first. Read credible sources. Don't just read anything.
Because this internet is getting outrageous.
We got a minute before a commercial. Okay, we got to take our last commercial break. We'll be right back. Me and Woody were on a nice little roll here. Jarvis is always bringing the, ruining the party.
I thought we.
Okay, all right. Let's go to commercial.
I'm Dr. Yates. I'm a hair transplant surgeon. When people come to see me, they have a problem. They've lost a lot of hair and they want their hair back. We have our own line of hair products, and I think it's a real winner. The way we start is with Mega Biotin. Number 2, Edge Control. It prevents breakage and holds the edges down. Apple cider vinegar shampoo. It adds body, it adds shine, and it also reduces inflammation. Depending on if your hair is dry, you want to use hydrating. If your hair is thin, you use the thickening shampoo. Then we have our secret sauce, argan oil. With that, we have what's called Miracle Blowout. The Sheen Spray is basically kind of a permutation of the argan oil. It just adds a finishing touch to the hair. And finally, the Dynamic Duo, Keratin Fibers. This makes your hair look thicker instantaneously. This doesn't come out in the wind, doesn't come out in the rain. We can guarantee this will help your hair and keep you from coming to see me about hair loss.
Zhivago timepieces are luxury watches for both women and men. Designs for women are inspired by classic femininity while maintaining their contemporary style. Designs for men blend classic elegance and sporty versatility. All timepieces remain true to the Zhivago lifestyle, including their glamorous presentation, which is a nod to the famous Parisian fragrance that started it all. Zhivago timepieces transcend the ages, recalling life's most treasured moments. Let Zhivago inspire you.
Visit www.zhivagowatches.com or shop Zhivago Watches on Amazon.
We're Simone and Valerie, real estate professionals with Coldwell Banker Beverly Hills North, the #1 grossing office in the nation. Whether you're thinking of purchasing a new home, selling your old, or just have real estate related questions, we're confident we can help you.
One of the biggest complaints people have of their agent is lack of communication. so we make sure we are constantly in touch with our clients and keep them informed every step of the way. Our philosophy is simple: provide our clients with outstanding service from start to finish.
Our goal is to be there for you from your first home to any future properties you buy or sell.
We want to be your agents for life.
Flowers are nature's expression of love and appreciation. There is no better way to show your love and appreciation than with these beautifully intricate arrangements by Designs by David. Designs by David will deliver beautiful arrangements to you for any occasion, in any city and state around the world. Love and appreciation should be expressed every day. Express it with Designs by David today. Mention Focus with Ron Frierson for a discount.
Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. You know, Woody and I have been like jazz musicians this hour. We've just been free flowing and vibing. I see you, Jarvis. Jarvis keeps giving me these, and you got to understand. You got to know our producer, Jarvis.
He's on point.
When he gives you a time, he'll look at you like he's your dad. Like he's like, hey, 5 minutes. I mean, I know.
I told you that.
Okay, I see you, Jarvis. I see you.
You're gonna get whooping.
Well, so before we close out the show, I wanted to bring up something that's very, very important in regards to the global scale.
What's
we
that?
on North Korea.
Oh man, that's
and it seems
situation.
like it's a long, and it is a long way away. But the world is small these days. The world is very, very small these days. And this thing could possibly develop into something that we would see in history books, and not in a good way. And the reason why it could develop into something like that is because we have a person in office who I am not sure that if the pressure is put on and he has to act impulsively, if his impulses will lead to him making the proper decision, or will his impulses lead us into further danger.
But I like the fact that he wants to sit down, or offered to sit down with Kim Jong-un, and then he got criticized because he said he was a smart cookie. But I don't care about all of that. If he's willing to sit down, listen, sit down with the guy. Let's talk, because we really have no other options. We're trying to get China to instill sanctions against them,
and they're bucking China right now too.
And they're bucking China a little bit. But sit down with the guy.
You know what?
They say we're not going to sit down with them unless they stop their nuclear program. Listen, they are another country, right? We're policing the world again, and I understand they threaten to punch us in the nose, and we want to open that door and punch them first before they hit us. But sit down with the guy. You might be surprised, but I think you have to try that option.
I understand where you're coming from in that regard. So I do. I'm not sure. Maybe not sit down with our leader and their leader, but maybe have talks, bilateral talks through our diplomats, where you have direct conversations. Maybe that would be good.
Right. Exactly.
But so I would have rather, and maybe you're right. Maybe this is something wherein we are forced now to do this. But you also get word from North Koreans saying that they're going to decimate the United States, or they're going to blow Japan out the water.
He's got to stop that.
So, and you can't keep him from saying this type of stuff.
No, you can't.
Then also the thing about it is that we also have a president who speaks in such bluster. He says stuff that is off. I mean, it's kind of cool. Some of the things he says, and then he'll backtrack after you learn more.
Right.
And I don't know. I just don't feel confident in his ability to manage that. If he has smart people around him, and that's another one of the reasons why I wouldn't mind for some of his diplomats, whether it's General McMaster's or even Rex Tillerson, or some of these people to go and speak, because they are accomplished, smart people.
Right.
And so if they spoke to North Korean diplomats and they were able to come to some understanding, but if you put two crazy people in the room, Kim Jong-un and Donald Trump in the room, it's no telling what could happen.
Yeah, well, I don't think you have those two meet face to face.
Yeah,
but like you said, some type of diplomatic solution. You have the diplomats sit down and talk, because I think this can be talked through.
I hope so.
Because I don't think Kim Jong-un understands that if we call his bluff, there will be no more North Korea, because there's 100 targets right now on the map. We will decimate it, and South Korea will march in, and it will be over. There will be no more North Korea.
So, but this is the thing that scares me about that. same thing with some people with ISIS or Al Qaeda. If you have a certain mindset, death doesn't scare you. And the thing is, he's so close to South Korea, where there are 20 million people in Seoul, South Korea alone. He's so close to Japan. And the way technology works, if we try to shoot a missile at him, it has to reach the sky at some time. They can detect it coming with their equipment, and
some
they can
people
send
will die.
and then
Millions
they can
of
send
people will die.
and so they can send something
or
off.
Hundreds of thousands.
Yeah, whatever the amount is, he has a large nuclear arsenal. So he could, while our missiles are en route coming to him, he could send out a flurry of missiles, and he knows now I'm going down, I'm taking everyone with me.
Yeah.
And before you know it, we have something that's on a scale of something we've never seen before.
It's not a win-win situation.
It's not a win-win situation. So, and this is also the reason why, again, it makes me nervous, is because he's also a guy that blusters, that says stuff, that puffs his chest. I'm talking about Kim Jong-un. Our president does the same thing. You have these personality types that, at least in this regard, they're similar. It's just hopefully, cooler heads prevail so that it won't get to this point.
Yeah.
And Jarvis just gave me a fist. I don't know if that fist means 0, that we're out of time, or that fist
looked
means
like a
eagle
0 fist to me.
Yeah. So I'm not sure. So listen, guys,
fun.
thank you, and thank you to Malik, and thank you to Woody for contributing on the show for this week. Thank you to all of you who decided to start your weekends with us, and we will be back again next week at 5:00 Pacific, 8:00 Eastern Time on Focus with Ron Frierson. Have a great weekend. We're out.